Hi, my name is Susan, and if you are watching this video, you probably have a child that you're worried about, who's maybe struggling in the classroom, struggling to behave, maybe to sit still, retain spellings, write with spaces between the words, concentrate. Okay, so if you're looking for a solution for those sorts of problems, we're learning Breakthrough, and I'm going to explain to you how we work with children and provide that solution. Okay, so first of all, this is the Bellevue balance board. Okay, the rockers are adjustable, and I'm going to get on the board now and explain a little bit about why that's important and how the whole program works. Okay, so bear with me. Okay, so why do we use a balance board? I'm just placing my feet on it. Why do we use a balance board? Why is balance important in learning? Well, when we are tiny babies just developing in the womb, at 5 months in utero, we are developing our sense of sight, our hearing, our senses of taste, touch and smell. Before all of those senses are developed, we develop our balance system. It's called the vestibular, okay? And the balance system is housed between the canals of our inner ear. There is fluid in there, and there are little filaments, little hairs, that are giving back feedback as to where we are within space. So if I'm over to the side, my brain knows which side I'm over to or whatever. Most importantly, but it is the foundational sense to all those other senses. So if you imagine a baby in the womb, and the baby is listening to the mother's heartbeat, which is loud when it's close to the heartbeat, and it's a softer motion, or a softer sound when the child has moved away from the heartbeat. The child recognises that, okay, the closer I am to that sound, the louder it is. So whenever the child is born, and maybe at 18 months, the child's sitting on grandpa's knee, and mum is in the other room, and the child can hear the mother speaking, the child knows there's no point in saying, Mom. It knows it has to go, Mom, in order. And the ears, through the vestibular, have taken in that information so as to know how much energy they need to put into their voice in order for their mother to hear them, which I find fascinating, because they have detected the sound of the mother's voice. So all of this has to work together, body and mind has to work together, and this is why we use a balance board in order to develop this balance system. Because if there's an underdevelopment at 5 months in the womb, there is going to be a problem with the connections up the line. Now that could mean that a child, or indeed an adult, would see words jumping about on the page. It could be this first pathway that's not connecting properly. So words could move about on the page. But loads of people come to us and that's not happening. They can read it, it stays still, but they're having to read it 3, 4, 5 times before they can actually go, right, okay, I've got it. By which stage, of course, they're exhausted and thinking, and now I have to answer questions. Then you can have the easily distracted, they can't get to sleep at night, the frustration, maybe the meltdowns, they can't ride a bike, doesn't take part in sport, maybe problems socially. It really just depends on which of these pathways that are affected, these neural pathways that are affected, as to which symptoms a child and ultimately an adult would display. Now, my picture here of neurons and neural pathways, okay? If you imagine a child who, a lot of children come to us and maths is an awful lot easier than their literacy, say. So maths is on a line like this. It's connected. Doesn't drain them. They get their maths homework and they go home. Okay. And they just get on and do it. Whereas face them with, write a story about your weekend, or your spellings, write a sentence with 5 of your spellings, or indeed just learning the spellings. They can learn, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They are smart enough to remember it and memorise them for the Friday test. They get most of them right. So you don't think to ask them again, but if they go to write a sentence with one of those words the following week, chances are they can't remember it. And you're saying to them, how did you get that word wrong? Sure, you got it right on the Friday test. They don't know why they've got it wrong, but it has literally fallen out because the pathways weren't connected. Okay, it wasn't a nice big strong connection like this one. Okay, so how do we get these connected? Well, exercise changes how the brain operates, how it organises information. And so we use things like a beanbag. We throw and catch a beanbag, and you can think, how difficult is it to throw and catch a beanbag? It's very difficult to throw it in the way in which we need you to throw it in order to reorganise this brain of ours. A lot of children will clamp their arms in and everything becomes very tight, they become like raptors almost. Or they will, if you say to them, bring your arms out a little bit, they'll go like that. Okay, so everything's in a held position. Now what does that mean for the brain? That means if they're in a held position in the physical, it means they're in fight or flight most of the time in their heads. And so they're on alert really about everything. Going into a new classroom, going into a new situation, a party, they can freeze as if, the way we would if we were in an alleyway at night on our own and a twig broke. You'd freeze. But then we can very quickly realise, that was that cat I just walked past. But these children, once they go into fight or flight, sometimes it can go on for hours and they just can't get out of it. Okay? So by releasing this, instead of this tightness and maybe lifting from the shoulders and use the elbows and get a relaxed state in the physical, then they can reach their logic. You can reason with them, that was that cat, and then go, oh yeah, I saw that, and walk on, as opposed to the mayhem. Okay, so it's all about releasing and relaxing these shoulders so as to release that tension in the brain, anxiety, etc. is all linked to all of that. Okay, those meltdowns. Okay, we're crossing the midline, so we're throwing from one hand to the other a number of times, and because these exercises are done often enough, so it's 15 minutes once a day, and for long enough, we create pathways that hardwire. It takes 3 months to hardwire a neural pathway, and so we're doing this for a year, so it's 4 lots of 3 months in order to get as many pathways hardwired as possible. Of course, once they're hardwired, that's permanent change. They will not go back to their frustrated, tense state. Okay? We also use a pendulum ball. Excuse me, I have to get off the balance board a second just to get it, to be able to show you. Back on my board. I make the board look easy because I did the program when I was 43. So, we use a pendulum ball. Hope that didn't shock you. Sorry, I should have warned you about that. So we use a pendulum ball simply because a pendulum will always swing as much one way as it does the other. That is natural time and rhythm, and this is where this program really excels with sport. Children come back to us all the time telling us that their camogie has improved, or their rugby, or their football, or whatever. I've had a 68-year-old man who did the program for his golf swing. Okay, so and it improved obviously. So we use this, a child whose handwriting is difficult, we use the pendulum ball, and that sorts out their fine motor skills and their hand-eye coordination all within the same session, and you're on a balance board as well. Okay, so saying I'm making it look easy, it's not that easy. We also use a bouncy ball, okay, and this might alarm you, I'm going to bounce this, okay, so you can hear that. Okay, so again, a lot of children do not have a catch reflex in order to be able to catch a ball, so we teach them that. That's a connection in itself. Okay, so I hope that explains a bit about what we do. I hope it makes sense that we've got 2 sides of the brain, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 arms, 2 legs, and if any of these 2s in the physical aren't working in sync together, then the 2 sides of the brain are getting a mixed signal, and this is where your chaos is coming from, and this is why your child has difficulty concentrating. Okay, the flip side of all that is, once we get everything in the physical coordinated, the brain can reorganise itself and the child can get on with it, because you know your child is smart. They just have difficulty proving it in some areas. So we're here to help. There's details at the end of this video for contact details, our website address, etc. if you'd like to call us. Thank you very much for listening.